Namaste, angels. Did you see that orb? As soon as the video started, something went up that way. Anyway, let me regroup. I wasn't expecting that. What am I doing? Daily reading for the 17th, Monday the 17th. So in the year 642, Arab forces under Amir ibn al-Az conquer Alexandria. 1683, Dutch scientist Antoine van Leeuwenhoek is the first to report the existence of bacteria. 1862, the Battle of Antietam, or also called the Battle of Sharpsburg. It's the bloodiest day in the American Civil War. 23,110 people die in the first battle on Union soil, so in the North. 1900, the Commonwealth of Australia is proclaimed. 1916, the Red Baron, Manfred von Richthofen, World War I flying ace of the German Luftstreitkräfte, wins the first aerial combat near Cambrai, France. 1978, Anwar Sadat, Menachem Begin, and Jimmy Carter all signed the Camp David Accords frameworks for the peace in the Middle East and between... Wait a minute. That was a mouthful. 1 second. They all sign the Camp David Accords, frameworks for peace in the Middle East and between Egypt and Israel. It wasn't me. It was the way this is written. It's retarded. My little vegan child. My vegan child. Pardon me. I'm talking to my daughter. Oh goodness. Did you know the first successful separation of Siamese twins that were conjoined happened on this day, September 17th in the year 1953. Famous birthdays: Friedrich Wilhelm von Steuben, Marquis de Condorcet, Hank Williams, Anne Bancroft, Phil Jackson, and Narendra Modi. Would you believe Joshua Abraham Norton, English-born resident of San Francisco, proclaims himself His Imperial Majesty, Imperior Norton I. This happened on September 17th in 1859. He was calling himself the Emperor of the United States of America. That sounds kind of crazy. Famous weddings, 1918, Abbott and Costello's Bud Abbott, who was 22, weds Betty Smith. 1937, economist John Kenneth Galbraith, 29, weds author Catherine Atwater, who was 24, at the Reformed Church of North Hempstead in New York. 1942, ice hockey player Maurice Richard, 20, weds Lucille Norchett, 17. 1954, film and theater actress Shirley MacLaine, 20, weds Steve Parker in New York City. And 1957, Italian actress Sophia Loren, 22, weds Carlo Ponti. My father always said my mother looked like Sophia Loren. That was his obsession with her. I guess why he married her. 1994, Princess Christina separates. Doesn't say from whom. Famous deaths, Dred Scott. In my probably teaching videos, I have a whole thing about Dred Scott. I was on jury duty and I was sitting in the hallway and all of a sudden the walls started forming like heads. And it was like those big heads, the cone, like kind of heads, like Nefertiti, but it was men. And then I saw like the 12 men in the wall. And then they told me to do this like Dred Scott thing. And so I came home and did it. That was, I guess, like 2016. So it's probably in my teaching videos or my specials. One of my older videos, if anybody wants to see it. Anyway, he died on this day. William Henry Fox, Karl Popper, and Spiro Agnew. Spiro Agnew was American, and the Vice President of the United States. Agnew served as Vice President under Richard Nixon from 1969 until he resigned over corruption allegations in 1973. Prosecutors alleged that he had taken bribes and kickbacks while a politician in Maryland and as Vice President. His resignation came a year before Nixon himself resigned over the Watergate scandal. He was born on November 9th rather, which is 11, in the year 1918. And was from Baltimore, Maryland, United States, of course, a Scorpio. He died on September 17th in 1996 at the age of 77 of leukemia. Karl Popper was British, a philosopher and a professor. He's one of the greatest philosophers of science of the 20th century for critical rationalism, falsificationism, cosmological pluralism, those three. He was born on July 28th in 1902. And was from Vienna, Austria-Hungary. He was a Leo. He died on September 17th in 1994 at the age of 92 of complications of cancer, pneumonia, and kidney failure. Well, he likes to do things in threes, huh? William Henry Fox Talbot was English and also not a philosopher, I'm sorry. He was a photographer and a pioneer. William Henry Fox Talbot is known for inventing an early photographic developing technique, the collotype process, in 1841. Talbot patented this process, and his course in licensing this caused some controversy. Talbot was accused of stiffing photography in Britain, and 1852 removed costs for amateurs. I don't know why they wrote this like this too. It just sounds like it's not English. It's really poor grammar. 1852 removed costs for amateurs before a lawsuit in 1854, which is 9-9, convinced him not to renew his patent. I don't even know what that means, that sentence, because it made no sense. Anyway, in 1844 through 1846, Talbot published, quote, The Pencil of Nature, end quote. It was the first commercially published book to be illustrated with photographs. He was born on February 11th, which is 11/11, because February is 2 or 11. He was born on the 11th, 11/11, in the year 1800, which is 9, so it's still 11/11. He was from Dorset, England, and Aquarius, died on September 17th in the year 1877 at the age of 77. And Dred Scott was a United States slave. Dred Scott was born into slavery in Virginia in the 1790s. His original owners sold him to John Emerson, a doctor serving in the U.S. Army, and Scott traveled about with him. In 1836, which is also 9-9, he met and married fellow slave Harriet Robinson. Her ownership transferred to Emerson so that they could be together. Following Emerson's death in 1843, Scott sought to buy the freedom of himself and his family, but Emerson's wife refused. Scott filed a case in the local St. Louis court, was tried in 1847, which is 9/11 or 11, then retried in 1850, where the court ruled the Scotch should be free due to living in the states where slavery was illegal. The owner appealed the case, going to the Supreme Court, which ruling in 1857 that as of African descent, they did not have the right to be citizens and so freedom. By this stage, Scott was the most famous slave in America. Scott and his family were finally freed 3 months after the court ruling. Dred died less than 2 years later. Dred Scott's case led to the tensions of the Civil War, influenced Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. Well, only the 13th is the one that freed. The 14th and 15th sort of find ways to put you back in slavery, like through prison and other things. Anyway, don't get me started because that just pissed me off. He was born on March 17th, which is the feast day of St. Patrick, in the year 1777. A lot of sevens. March 17th, 1777. In Southampton County, Virginia, USA. He died on September 17th in 1858 at the age of 81 of tuberculosis. He was a Pisces. Going up to Narendra Modi, he's 68 years old, an Indian. He was the 15th Prime Minister of India. Prior to holding this office, he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat from 2001 through 2014. Modi was a highly controversial figure in this role, particularly over allegations that he was complicitly in the 2002 riots in which over 1,000 Muslims were killed. Since taking office, excuse me, Modi has tried to raise foreign direct investment in the Indian economy while reducing spending on healthcare and social welfare initiatives. Other policies include the abolition of the Planning Commission and attempts to increase efficiency in bureaucracy. He has begun a high-profile sanitation campaign and weakened or abolished environmental and labor laws. Modi's Hindu nationalism has been the source of controversy, with the riots in Gujarat sometimes used by critics as evidence of his anti-Muslim feelings. He was born on September 17th in 1950 and is 68 years old. He was born in Vanagar, India. Chinese zodiac sign Tiger, and traditional star sign Virgo. Phil Jackson, full name Philip Douglas Jackson, was an NBA coach, widely considered one of the greatest coaches in the NBA. Jackson won 6 NBA championships as head coach of the Chicago Bulls and 5 NBA championships as head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. He was born on September 17th in 1945 and is 73 years old. They put the Chinese zodiac for him too. This is weird. He was born in Deer Lodge, Montana, USA. Under the Chinese zodiac, he is a rooster, and his traditional star sign is Virgo. I don't know why they're doing that for just these two thus far. Anne Bancroft. Oh, I guess they've added it for everybody. Just maybe while I was sitting here doing this, all of a sudden they changed it. I don't know. Anyway, her full name, Anna Maria Luisa Italiano. An actress, an American actress associated with the Method Acting School, which she studied under Lee Strasberg. Respected for her acting prowess and versatility, she was often acknowledged in and for her work in film, theater, and television. She won an Academy Award, 3 BAFTA Awards, 2 Golden Globes, 2 Tony Awards, and 2 Emmy Awards. She was born on September 17th in 1931 and was from the Bronx, New York, Canada, it says. Okay, the Bronx, New York is not in Canada. It is in the United States. I, too, am originally from there. Under the Chinese zodiac, they have her as a goat/sheep. So she's both I don't know, cuspian. I don't know what that means. But under the star sign Virgo, under the traditional signs, zodiac, she died on June 6 in 2005 at the age of 73 of uterine cancer. Hank Williams, full name Hiram King Williams, was a country music singer and a songwriter. Williams was one of America's first major country music stars and was instrumental in the genre's rise in popularity. Williams recorded 35 singles. 5 were released posthumously, which means after he died. And they ranked in the top 10 of the country and western bestsellers chart, including 11 number ones. His hits include Lovesick Blues, Why Don't You Love Me, Cold Cold Heart, Hey Good Looking, I'll Never Get Out of This World Alive, and Your Cheatin' Heart. Williams became one of the earliest inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987. His songs have been covered by numerous pop, gospel, and blues artists. He was born on September 17th in 1923 in Mount Olive, Alabama, USA, and is a Virgo, was a Virgo. For him, they don't have the Chinese thing. I don't know what's going on here. This is wacky. He died on January 1st in the year 1953. So that is 11. 119 equals 11. And he was 29 at the time, also equals 11. The cause of death was a heart attack in the back seat of his Cadillac. Marquis de Condorcet was French, and he was an Enlightenment philosopher known for Condorcet method of election. He was born on September 17th in 1743 in Ribemont, France, and was a Virgo. He died on March 28th in 1794 at the age of 50. He was murdered. And lastly, Friedrich Wilhelm von Steuben was both American and Prussian, a major general of the Continental Army. He's credited with being one of the fathers of the American military tactics and discipline. Baron von Steuben wrote regulations for the order and discipline of the troops of the United States, which remained the country's drill manual until the Civil War. He served as George Washington's chief of staff in the latter stages of the Revolutionary War and was himself a major general and inspector general of the Continental Army. He was born on September 17th in 1730 in Magdeburg, Duchy of Magdeburg. He was a Virgo, and he died on November 28th in 1794 at the age of 64. He was the last of the birthdays. So going to the dice, I'm beginning with 29. Spiritual partnership. No. And romantic dinner. It says cocktail. Dirty movie, which I think came up in the general and the love reading this week. And forget it. I saw a lot. Ooh, as I'm about to say it, there goes the 5 of air. I was going to say I saw a lot of 5 of air and 3 of air and 7 of air as I was shuffling, but we're beginning with the Queen of Earth, who's thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensible. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach and deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. There may be challenges because, like I just said, I saw the 3, the 5, and the 7 of air. That means foolishness. Opening to the 10 of fire. Too much work. Accept help from others. Life's out of balance. That leads to stress-related health concerns. Somebody carrying the burden, maybe the full financial burden. They're not getting help paying the bills. Maybe a single parent or something. An earth sign, perhaps. Or this could just be connected to the finances. Opening to the Queen of Water, who's tenderhearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. Relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. The Queen of Water is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. This Queen of Earth is a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. There could be something going on between an earth sign and a water sign. But again, somebody could be carrying the burden of a relationship, and perhaps specifically the financial burden of a situation. Queen of Earth, and opening to strength. You're going to need strength to carry the burden. They want us to see the 2 of fire too, though. Here it is. You've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts continue to move forward. But strength is another 11, because that 2 of fire, that was an 11, right? Strength is also a red 11, because it represents fire sign Leo. Great inner strength. Release harsh judgments. Instead, exercise some forgiveness and compassion. There's a lot of sirens behind me too. I don't know if you can hear it. It's been the whole time since I've been recording, recording the cards portion. Queen of Earth and the Page of Earth. Scholarly, dependable, patient, successful. Good news about financial matters. Wanting to do something more challenging, maybe a new area of study. Like the Queen, the Page is a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Pages bring news. This one brings news about money or the material. A job, you know, something connected to money, the material, things like that. Financial aid, loan, okay? And then the 6 of fire. Victory. Good news is on its way. Public recognition or awards. This can be connected to the news that we just saw is on its way. News of some sort of financial matter, or from an earth sign, or both. Very nice. The overall energy is the Knight of Water. Emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative. Falling in love or wedding proposals. The need to balance emotions and an invitation to a social event. The Knight of Water, like the Queen, is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And the Knight makes... whereas like the Page brings news, the Knight like makes proposals. Crowning the masculine is unity. Major Arcana card unity, which is the high priest or the Hierophant. In many decks, traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations seek out mentors and like-minded friends. Unity represents the sign of Taurus, perhaps like the Queen of Earth, which we began. Can also be about important documents, contracts, commitments, including like entering a relationship commitment, maybe even marriage. This card also about like making adjustments to our environment, people, places, and things with which we surround ourselves, and to ensure that they align with our current vibration and purpose. Surrounding the masculine, it is the Knight of Air, intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options so you can come up with creative solutions. The Knight of Air is a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, is someone likened to those traits or attributes. The ruler of Aquarius, actually Uranus, currently stationed in Taurus. So there may be something having to do with that. Oh, masculine subconscious. It's the Two of Water, another 11. A relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness and the positive resolution of a conflict. So this week pretty much is all about forgiveness. We're leading up to Yom Kippur, which is on the 19th. Every day in between is a day of what do we call it? I'm drawing a complete blank, but it's like a day. The days in between are not days of atonement. Yom Kippur is the day of atonement, and each day in between is like, it's another word. I can't think of it right now, but it's like a day of forgiveness. We'll call it that. And to be sorry, right? To make apologies and stuff. I don't know why I'm drawing a complete blank. Crowning the feminine, the Queen of Water is back. Tenderhearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. Relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. The Queen of Water is nicely mirroring the Two of Water here. She is, again, a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, like the Knight of Water, which is our overall energy. When I pick this up, behind it also upright is the Seven of Water, which represents for me, although not a court card, the planet Neptune and the sign of Pisces, which Neptune rules. A complex decision. The need to do research. Stop procrastinating. The Knight of Air also tends to mean that a decision needs to be made, or you're awaiting a decision for me. Surrounding the feminine, it's the Ace of Air. Brilliant new ideas and inspirations. Seeing the truth in the situation and a challenging beginning. So the Ace of Air is a new start. And it may have been, we may have had to like tackle some difficulties to get here. Like the road wasn't easy, and now we're here. And that's part of the victory. Like now we're victorious because we made it, but there still could be some like bumps ahead when the Ace of Air shows up. Feminine subconscious. Major Arcana card, the Star, speaking of Uranus being in Taurus. So now the Star, mirroring the Hierophant. The Star represents, again, the planet Uranus, ruler of the sign of Aquarius. And can be about dirty movie. It's about communication, maybe of, the electronic kind, because Uranus and Aquarius rule technology. This is also about your dreams coming true, your prayers having been answered, wishes granted, maybe as it relates to love or some sort of hurdle that you were trying to get over as it relates to love. You prayed for the truth, you prayed for victory, you prayed for a new start, prayed for your difficulties to end. All of those will be applicable here. Crowning. It's the Six of Air. Very nice. Things are looking up. It's the end of a difficult situation. Could even be taking a trip. So this can be connected to travel. It's often just metaphoric, though. It's like you're moving out of those difficult times. Again, like I said with the Ace, into more peaceful times ahead. Somebody really could be entering a romantic commitment, possibly even getting engaged, with a decision, a proposal, a decision that needs to be made, commitment, love, New start. It was hard getting here. We had a rough time, but here we are. Two of water, partnership, prayers being answered. This is what I wish for. For others, it might not be that serious yet, you know, the marriage, but you could at least be getting back into communication, maybe where you hadn't been in communication. And so you've really been dreaming about that and wishing for that. And here it is. At the root, 7 of fire. And it's crossing the night, which I said has to do with decisions. This has to do with decisions too. Defending them, that is. Defend your decisions and beliefs. Stand your ground. Choose your battles wisely. So this could be like a proposal to, let's say, to get married. And, you know, your friends don't think you should. So they approach you. You're going to take her back. You're going to take him back. You know, and this is you, again, standing by whatever decision it is you've made. And even on a smaller scale, maybe just the going out to dinner, or the romantic dinner, the cocktail that showed up in the dice. You know, you're going to give him another chance. You're going to give her another chance. This is you standing by your decision and deciding whether or not to even answer those people or not. You know, it's up to you to decide whether you want to share your, you know, news with them. It's otherwise none of their business. The heart of the matter. 3 of air. This is probably why they're trying to stop you. They're saying there's been hurt, so much hurt there, right? All of this stuff that's good now, but at the heart, the center of all of this is this pain that, you know, she's caused, that he's caused, however it went. So are you sure you want to be bothered again with this? Some people that are in maybe haven't really seen each other, haven't spoken, you're owed an apology or a word, some honesty. Is it worth it? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Because again, this 9 of water is just like the star. So now we have, except for this is minor arcana and this is major. So now we have this energy twice over of our prayers being answered, our dreams coming true. This is what we wish for. This is what we ask for. You know, like I say, be careful what you wish for because you just may get it. Here it is. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? As it relates to love questions, the 9 of water, like yes or no love related questions, the 9 of water is a yes. So even when there was pain, if there's a, you know, will you marry me, or you want to enter some sort of commitment, or will you go out to dinner with me or drinks with me, the answer is yes, despite the pain. And again, you're just going to tell these people to mind their business. And I think for most people, if it's not a romantic situation, there's a friend or something, a friend, somebody at the job, it's just things getting smoother and communications going a lot better and you being in a good mood and not, you know, taking any crap. That's basically what's going on, basically what's up here. There's nothing really else that needs clarification. We can look and see what the decision may be about. 3 of fire. Abundance. Things look very good. Have patience at this time and make long-term plans. So again, it could have something to do with a job, a career, something creative, like pursuing your passions, masculine pursuing his passions, which may include the feminine, you know, she may be the passion. If it's not something, you know, work or hobby related, could be combinations of those things, entering some sort of business partnership, signing the important documents. Am I going to do it or not? Yes, let's go for it. And then I got 3 stakes in the ground. I just need 1 more. feminine's ace of air. Ego, a false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things and negative or fear-based thoughts. So in some case, I wasn't even going to clarify this because I already had answers, but at just the last minute, I was like guided to, very last minute. For some, this is tied to the need to take this sword, the Ace of Air's sword, the Ace of Swords, and cut yourself away from something, cut yourself free from something, or cut someone, something, someplace out of your life because it doesn't mean you well. For others, this is, some fear might come up in relation to maybe making this decision, or maybe something that you wish for actually coming to fruition. And right before we're about to get these things, panic sets in. So they could be warning you of that. This Ace of Air capable of cutting that away too. And it could also be something between, beginning between an air sign and an earth sign, and or water sign. It could be water, air, water, earth, or air, earth. And maybe specifically Capricorn and Aquarius, where it relates to air and earth. Further advice to the masculine, major arcana card, the Empress of Archangel Gabriel. Lavish abundance. So he has some sort of opportunity to become abundant, lucrative, whether it is love, money, material, combinations of those. Something is waiting for him, and could very well involve partnership, business partnership, a friend, a romantic relationship. This is also about a new start, the Empress. Could be the need to nurture. Somebody's mother could be involved, wife, the mother of their child. There could be somebody close to the masculine who's expecting. Possibly even giving birth on this day, adding a third person to the mix, a new person to the family. For the feminine, the Page of Water. Intuitive, sensitive, artistic, and friendly. A new person enters your life. A relationship begins a new phase. Also heightened psychic abilities. The Page of Water, like the Queen and the Knight, is again a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. So again, the feminine, it looks like getting some sort of news, information, honesty, truth, perhaps from an earth sign, maybe specifically a Capricorn. If she's the one who's speaking the truth, she might be the one she might be the bearer of this news. She's the one speaking the truth, giving her honesty or whatever. If there's any fear associated with that, you feel creeping up, now you know that that's a possibility. Shake it off. I'll actually look at one more card for the Devil. Yep, Five of Water. This is, it's attached to pessimism and doubt and lack of confidence. So again, if you feel that creeping up, shake that off. You can make the offer. You can receive the offer confidently, honestly. And you're in this position of power, awaiting a new beginning. Lastly, the masculine's Empress, Ace of Water. So again, new beginning, possibly a baby. It could be any kind of new thing, a new home, a new relationship, a new start, whatever it is, or a new family member, a new addition, even a pet. Whatever it is something that brings emotional happiness to the masculine, and could easily even be, again, a business situation, signing papers, getting a new job or promotion, signing some sort of contract, entering a partnership, going into business for himself, moving, right? Moving to a new place, getting his own place. And for the feminine, also, again, moving into a more peaceful place, having overcome these any difficulties. She's victorious. She's getting what she's wished for, hoped for. Makes her very emotionally happy. Could be a relationship with all this water. But I do see her slipping into a place of doubt and pessimism, and as either the giver or receiver of this offer of love, the feminine is just guided to remain strong. And then once she makes a decision and states what she wants and is clear about it, stick to your guns. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the daily reading and find it helpful in your lives. Namaste, angels.